Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Nicole and this channel is all about health, wellness, and designing your dream life. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about work-life balance. So this concept of work-life balance is something that I feel a lot of people are trying to strive towards. They feel like their work life and their home life really aren't in balance. But the one thing that really bothers me is the fact that when we call it work-life balance, that's not a real thing, right? It's sort of differentiating between our work life and our home life, but the life part of it, that implies that our work is not part of our lives. Already it sets us up for failure. We're implying that part of our lives is being taken away from us by work, when in fact work is actually part of our lives. That same 24 hours can be broken down into 3 components. The first is 8 hours of sleep, which is what we should be getting. The second is 8 hours of work. That's if you work a 40-hour work week. And the third is 8 hours of whatever you want. And that's usually what we designate as being our lives. So if you take the 8 hours that we're asleep out of the equation, we're left with the 8 hours that we're at work and the 8 hours that we're not. So I think the main takeaway here is that we need to stop thinking about 8 hours at work and 8 hours of our lives, but they're the same thing. Work is part of our lives. So really, we have 16 hours to do with what we want. Those 8 hours that you spend making money, we choose how we want to spend that. A lot of people struggle with this work-life balance because they're unhappy with the way that they're choosing to spend those 8 hours that they're at work. And that's really what this boils down to. If you're unhappy with 1/3 of your life, the time that you're spending at work, it's no wonder you feel like you're unbalanced. So what can we actually do about this? The first thing that you need to do is ask yourself, why are you unhappy at work? What is it about your day at work that you're unhappy about? What are the things that you actually enjoy about your job? I think it's safe to assume that if you're in a career, say you went to school for engineering, and you're now in an engineering job, it's safe to say that you chose that career path. So why is it that you're unhappy now that you're actually working? For me, I chose physiotherapy. I've spent the last 6 years of my life studying to be a physio. I would not have put that much time and dedication into something that I didn't enjoy. So I found a work environment that supports me and makes me happy while I'm at work. So go back to basics. What are the reasons why you got into the career that you're in the first place? What are the things that you currently enjoy about your job? What are the things that you dislike about your job? Then once you have a better idea about what you are and are not liking about your current position, so how can you incorporate more of what you're currently enjoying in your job into your daily activities? And how can you make the parts of your job that you're not currently enjoying more enjoyable? The next part of this is the victor versus victim mentality. A lot of people say that they don't like their jobs because they have a boss that they don't like, or there's somebody at work that makes it unbearable for them to be there. But what a lot of people will do is they'll wait until they're in a safe space and then they'll rant about what's going on at work. And this is that victim mentality. You're complaining about everything that's going wrong, but not actually coming up with any solutions on how to fix things. And this applies to a lot of aspects of your life. Instead of complaining about something that you don't enjoy doing, to ask yourself, how can I make this situation better? Okay, now that we've talked about the work aspect of things, now let's talk about the quote-unquote life side of things. The reason that you feel so unbalanced is because we spend a lot of our lifetime doing admin things. And what I call admin things are things like cooking and cleaning, taking care of your kids, your commute to and from work, or going to the grocery store and running errands. These are the things that take away from our free time, aren't actually things that we necessarily enjoy doing. So we feel like we have so much less time to ourselves because of all these other things that we need to be doing when we're not at work and we're not sleeping. So what can we do to take back some of that time so we feel a bit more balanced? The first thing is that we need to be more efficient with our time. So if you're spending every single night coming home and cooking dinner, cleaning up afterwards, yeah, that's going to take up a lot of your time and you're going to have less time to yourself doing the things that you want to be doing. So we can make this more efficient by doing things like meal prep. You're only having to cook once per week and then all of your meals are made for the week. That also means that there's less dishes and less cleaning up to do. For cleaning, something that I really like to try and do is a 5-minute tidy. So I'll spend 5 minutes just picking up after myself, cleaning up little tiny things so that by the end of the week I don't have to be spending so much time doing all of this really intense cleaning. If you just spend 5 minutes per day cleaning, then when you come home at the end of the day on Friday night, you'll realize that there isn't like a pile of stuff for you to be doing. And that's when it often feels overwhelming, is when you let it add up and take over your life. The second thing that you can be doing is be more intentional with your time. Often what happens is we come home, we cook dinner, we clean up, and then we end up crashing on the couch and watching Netflix for hours because we're so tired. So if we can first be more efficient with our time, then that frees up more time for us and we can be more intentional with the time that we do have. So one way to do this is actually ask yourself, how would you spend your time if you had more of it? If I was to give you an extra hour at the end of each day, how would you spend that time? If your first thought is something like sleeping, then you definitely need to be assessing why you're so tired all the time and be looking at improving the sleep that you are getting. Remember, we have that 8 hours per day for our sleep. And I've got another video on this coming up very soon. Something else in response to that question. Something like reading or writing, spending more time with your family, other sort of creative hobby or project that you have. You need to be more intentional about spending your time doing those things. Instead of coming home and sitting down on the couch, spend time doing those things that you actually enjoy doing. Feel more fulfilled and happier at the end of the day. It's really interesting if you track the time that you're spending doing different things. So you can get an app on your phone to track how long you're spending on social media, things like that, and you can track how much time you're spending on Netflix. What you need to do is divide that time in half and spend the other half of the time doing the things that you said you want to do. Recently for myself, I found out that I spend 2 hours per day on Instagram. My goal is to cut that in half. I'll 1 hour on Instagram and the other hour doing whatever I want. Now, to relate all of this back to the things that I actually talk about, which is health and wellness and fitness, tell me that they don't have time to exercise. I'm giving you some ways that you can take back your time the way that you want. Now, a lot of people don't want to spend their extra free time doing exercise. I promise you, you'll feel better, you'll have more energy, you'll feel healthier. It'll actually help you have more time for the things that you want to do. To hear more on this topic, stay tuned for my next video. It's all about how to exercise when you don't feel like it and how to find time to exercise when you don't feel like you have the time. So make sure you hit that subscribe button and like this video. It helps support my channel. Comment in the section down below to know how you would spend your time if you had an extra hour per day. I'll see you in the next one. Bye guys.